Good afternoon. Hello, everybody. How are you all? Dr. Rao here. So, I thought I would give you what is restorative sleep. How come sleep can really restore your energy and balance and also in your metabolism, right? Um, how it can clean up your body, clean up your mind, right? That's the purpose of the sleep. We all know that. So I was talking to my friends yesterday, Saturday, on the restorative sleep. So I was going deeper into what the sages and yogis they do it. That's much better, right? So, but let's start with some science first. You see, what is the neuroscience of sleep? We do a deep dive rather. First of all, you want to understand what is the sleep architecture. Okay, sleep is orchestrated in cycles about 90 minutes each, with two main phases. Right, one is NREM, non-REM sleep. Okay, rapid eye movement. There is no rapid eye movement. That occurs in three stages. First stage is transition from wakefulness to sleep, light and fleeting. And the second stage is light sleep, where your memory consolidation happens. And then stage three is deep, slow wave sleep, where vital for the physical repair and then immunological function. These three stages in the non-REM sleep, non-rapid eye movement. And then you will notice that the person has rapid eye movement sleep for a while. That is, the dreams are happening at the time. And this is crucial for emotional processing, learning, and memory integration, right? All this. So there are so many key brain structures, starting with the hypothalamus, which is the sleep-wake regulation center, via the SCN, what we call SCN. It's like a suprachiasmatic. There is a chiasma, right, through nucleus. This is the circadian clock. That's where it begins, all of it. And then you have pineal gland, which kind of secretes the melatonin in response to darkness. That signals is time to sleep. Okay, and then there is the brainstem, which communicates with the hypothalamus, which is higher than that, to control sleep transitions and paralysis during REM. Kind of body doesn't move, right? Not that you really get paralyzed, but you appear to be losing that body function. And then thalamus, which is it filters all the sensory input that you are getting from outside, right? Like our noises, like a sight, and all that. So that is something it quiets down in sleep, a really deep sleep, and reactivates in REM to relay dreams. Okay, that's kind of function of the thalamus. And then hippocampus. This works with neocortex during rapid eye movement sleep to consolidate your memories. Okay, so these are the different parts of it: hypothalamus to pineal gland to brainstem to thalamus and hippocampus, right? And then there are some chemical substances that are secreted, right? Everybody knows about melatonin, which is regulating the circadian rhythms. Okay, and then there is adenosine, which is built up during the wakefulness, and it kind of raises triggers, and then really gives you sleep pressure. Okay, then GABA, gamma, which is the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter that calms the nervous system. Butyric acid, the gamma acetobutyric acid. Then serotonin and acetylcholine. This also a lot of people are familiar with it. They are involved in initiating rapid eye movement sleep and regulating the sleep cycle. Okay, and then dopamine and hypocretin or orexin. These two, they promote wakefulness and alertness. Okay, um, of course, everybody wants to know what are these brain waves and what do they happen in what stage and all that. First of all, start with when you are awake and alert, beta waves. Okay, that is simple, right? And then when you are really awake but in a relaxed and meditative state, often before sleep, you are relaxed and you're able to go to sleep. You don't have any thinking and all that. That is the alpha waves. Okay, and then when you are in light sleep, theta. When you are really delta wave, you see that stage one and two of the non-REM, that is the light sleep. And then delta waves are the deep sleep. REM sleep, however, they have a mix of alpha and beta. Okay, and if you really go deep into that, then you have the gamma. Okay, so there is a real important mechanism between the sleep and the lymphatic system, glim lymphatic system, we call it. That is it has its own detox mechanism. So during deep sleep, the CSF flushes out toxins like beta amyloid, reducing Alzheimer's risk. Otherwise, these substances accumulate and they act against your normal function of the brain. That's why we don't want you to use the aluminum panels and other things, plastic and other things, right? So once you understand, okay, this is what is happening, this is sleep and the system are important, and we need to make it more conducive to detoxing all the materials. That's where some of the things I'm going to talk about will help you a lot. Okay, your behavior change. How do you understand the restorative sleep? That is really deep sleep, and how can you have more deep sleep than dreaming? Okay, so all this is very important because practical implications are you are learning that is deep and REMs consolidate the procedural and declarative memory. So the memory that has got a procedural, that means it kind of aligns your orientation to the procedure, and declarative memory, declares about things and all that. Also, it can affect all your more chronic deep sleep deprivation. If you're deprived of the sleep for a long time, obviously it disrupts what's called the amygdala and prefrontal cortex balance. So making one emotionally very reactive, irritable, and all that, right? That is what happens there. And also, it has an effect on the hormones. Sleep kind of regulates the cortisol, insulin, leptin, and ghrelin. These affecting the stress, metabolism, and hunger. Okay, and then immunity and inflammation, lack of sleep, it raises pro-inflammatory markers like iron-6 and CRP. Okay, so these are all documented, objective evidence that we can study with images and all that. Okay, but then I am more about deep sleep from not only relaxing the body, also relaxing the mind to a degree that really helps us to understand we could do a lot of things to enhance this quality of sleep. Quantity of sleep determines according to the age. Suppose you are very young, you sleep no problem, and then maybe adults, and then later on middle age also, you work hard physically and you come home and sleep very well, and that's okay. But then as you age 60, 70, and all that, you don't need that much sleep. 4 to 6 hours is okay, no? But then that also people may not have a quality sleep, so or they need a sleeping aid help to do that. Okay, so in ancient wisdom, like for example, Ramana Maharshi is not ancient; he was in 50s. He said, "Deep sleep is the true self, devoid of the ego." Very simple, right? And yoga nidra and the meditative states, they stimulate deep NREM sleep, non-rapid eye movement sleep, is guiding the practitioner really to witness their own consciousness. Okay, So the circadian discipline of Ayurveda and Brahma Muhurta awakening, they align with this SC and timing and melatonin peaks. You remember I talked about those SCN earlier, okay? So this is something you want to understand. But actually, the lecture I prepared is more like a restorative sleep through awareness and abiding in your true sense of the self. Okay, so what it does is when you are used to meditating and relaxing the mind, you go to what's called deep uninterrupted sleep. That is the one which really helps you with the physical emotional healing, and also it provides the spiritual stillness that we are always striving when you are striving for the spiritual inner connection. Okay, so once you have that connection with your inner harmony, then you sleep much better. Okay, so understanding that uninterrupted sleep, that kind of helps of physical emotional healing, and also stillness of thoughts, that's very important. So let's take a couple of luminaries, how they educated this. One is J. Krishnamurti, Jiddu Krishnamurti. He's a educator and he's a philosopher of par excellence, and many people follow him. And the highest brains, all of them, they kind of went and talked with him. So he talked about we are aware, we are choicelessly aware, right? And then there's no reaction or accumulation when you watch something. That means you are witnessing what is happening without attachment to what is going on, who is experiencing, and all that. So for this, you got to be attentive during the day. Okay, whatever is happening, you are not going to be following that reactions. Rather, you observe them and they dissipate. Suppose you get angry, and then at the time be aware of the anger, be attentive to what is happening, then immediately it goes down. So the mind resolves all conflicts throughout the day while awake. Okay, because you are not in the thoughts but in the choiceless awareness. Okay, so then you don't need to have any dreams because your mind is already in order. If you are not, then all the thoughts that you carried from the daytime residual, mind is trying to balance it out by making order come to you. So that's why it has that more dreams. That's an attempt of the mind to keep it in order. That's second him. So once you understand that, then you don't want to leave anything residue from the daytime. So as you are working in awareness, you've done one thing and you go to the next one, you are completely aware there too. So there is no residue of thoughts carrying on into the next moment. Okay, that's what happens with the customer's approach is you have few chaotic dreams, and then you have a deep still sleep because you have really captured very little time for the dreams, and also complete brain rest. It has more chance of complete brain rest and then detoxing too. And so it does the cleansing of the mental activities. So awareness washes away all psychological debris. That's the one you want to understand, right? So during the day, do whatever you do with complete attention. If you are not in attention, be aware of your inattention. Then you are automatically brought back to the attention. Okay, that is Krishnamurti's approach. Okay, so whereas the Ramana Maharshi, his wisdom is you want to be not in thought, not in the thought-induced matrix or network, but who is having this thought? Your inner self. Abide by that. That is called self-abidance. Beyond the mind and the body, ego is the dissolution, and then true complete deep sleep, true shushupti, they call it in Sanskrit, the deep sleep. Okay? So this is something I can vouch for because I don't sleep on thought. I sleep on the abiding on the self. Okay. So what happens with the Ramana's approach of self-abidance is actually you are absorbed in your spirit. That's why sleep becomes a sacred practice. Okay, and then yourself, which is not made up of thoughts but is already there as the childless awareness, that is not touched. So awareness all the time continues. It is beyond our thoughts. That's why, So you really have a transcendent peace because of the, you are beyond your ego. So you can continue that while you are awake too. So it's kind of a awakened sleep, conscious hour, even when the body is resting, but alert and awake, right? So that's the importance of it. That's a deep philosophy. You may not be, but then what do I do personally is I kind of have this get up in the morning, be aware of the presence, and bring myself to the present moment. That I call morning awareness of what is going on in life in front of me, right? Not about thinking about the agenda or thinking about what happened yesterday. No, what is happening here in this moment? And then after I established myself, even the morning routine I do, I invite my friends to be here and now in this moment and bring your attention to the breath. Return back by breath. If you go away with the thoughts, bring your attention back to the breath. That kind of daytime vigilance, moment to moment watching, moment to moment awareness, that is the one I practice. That means I wake up in awareness, and during the day, whatever I do, I give my complete attention. That's all. Then I don't have to accumulate things, and I don't have to really take all the things to my sleep. Okay, I have more choice of sleeping much more deeply, and then giving a chance to detoxify my mind and also my inner organs, liver, kidney, and all that. So this daytime vigilance is all good, but if you regain anything in the evening, reflect on that, review those reactions, and dump them. And then, as you are abiding in your real inner sense, not on the thoughts, you go to sleep. Okay, that is my way. Awareness in the morning, attention to every action during the day, and then review of reactions and washing them away, or vacating all my mind, everything, all the thoughts in the evening. So I call this AAV: awareness, attention, and vacation. Okay. Then these two paths, Krishnamurti's approach or Ramana Maharshi approach, um, Krishnamurti gives you attention all day, brings order. That's why you don't have many sleeps. That's why he talks about awareness that is choiceless, no accumulative thoughts, and resolving conflicts while awake. Okay, that is what we do. In Ramana's approach, you abide not in your thoughts, but in your real essence, which is the self, they call it, and sleep also in awareness. So there's the self inquiry that happens: who am I? And then beyond body identification is there, because you are not body, you are not mind, you are that conscious self. So that is a very invigorating sleep, actually. Once I understood that, I sleep very well. 2 or 3 hours abiding in the self completely restores my energy, no matter how physically, how mentally I was busy, right? So you can do some prompting for yourself. Say, have I watched the day in attention? Am I attentive to what is going on? Or then can I rest not as body but as my inner self, inner essence? And then what it is let the question dissolve into peace. That means you don't have questions to begin with, so you're already in that peace, beyond technique. Okay, so that is what it is. Okay, so I'm going to give a lecture on this, much more elaborative, tonight at Clubhouse in OBN, Open Business Network. That's my friend's thing, and I like the group because there are a lot of entrepreneurs there, and they need to sleep better. That's why I'm kind of doing this as a service to them. So I'm going to talk about modern way of understanding and the ancient way of understanding, and how when you combine both of them, understand the chemistry, understand the brain parts involved, understanding what is the behavior that can induce deeper sleep. If you cannot understand anything, just be in the present during the day and do whatever you do with complete attention. And then when you come home, before you go to bed, review all those reactions that you went through the day and then dump them. Don't take them to sleep. That helps you a lot. Then you unwind your body, you unwind your mind, and go slip into sleep. And then when you get up, your body is restored to normal metabolic function, and your brain is also restored to normal metabolic mechanism. So you wake up and you find you are really energetic. That is when your sleep worked for you the way it's supposed to work. Okay, uh, having ambience, having an atmosphere of able to sleep, that's very important. Make the room ready for sleeping, and only do sleeping in the bedroom, and don't have any devices, don't have any that distractions that it can be. And then try to cover your eyes with black glasses or something if you cannot really filter the light out. Okay, and close the curtains and make it dark, and then go to sleep like that. And also try to sleep on the same time if you can help it, and also don't eat bad foods or too much food before sleep. 2 hours before you should be meal. Okay, then it will have the time to, or you can walk a little bit, slight walk, or listen to light music, or read something very very light, and then that induces you sleep. Then no arguments, no fighting, nothing before sleep. Okay, even if you have, let them resolve, and don't go to the sleep angry or resentment or anything like that. And then as you go into that, if the thoughts come, just watch them. Don't indulge in them. Don't suppress. Anything will make it more of thoughts coming in. That's why watch them like they are in the clouds in the sky. You are the sky, and the clouds are happening. So watch them and let them come and go. Okay, that becomes a practice as you bring your attention back to the breath every time the mind goes somewhere else. So that is a presence training. Training to get back to the presence, come back to the breathing, and feel the air going in and out. And that will be very good. Okay, do that, and then you will be able to sleep better, and your body and mind are really repaired by the sleeping mechanism. And that's why it is a restorative sleep. It is restoring you to your original energy. Okay, you do that, and then you get up. And if you have any questions, you can come up and ask me on the new vibe. If people are here. So Peter, want to come up? I don't know. I think you missed yesterday. That was a 2 hours and 45 minutes session. We have so many aspects I discussed. Here I only introduced you to the things, but I introduced with a discussion. I went much deeper. Somehow the Zoom was kind of did not behave properly, so some people could not get in, even though they have the link. Then I sent them the uh, ID and the password. Some people came in using that, and we had a very good discussion yesterday. But today I'm scheduled to speak at this meeting, and where a lot more people will come, and I want to give them both versions, modern version and also ancient version. Both of them I speak about. Obviously, I kind of follow the ancient version because that gave me so, what happened was, as a physician, I was on the night calls, right? So, the night calls are very tough on us because we were working all day, and then we are exhausted to want to go to sleep. But then, if you accepted a night shift and you got to take care of those patients, take care of the calls, but your body and mind are asking for sleep, you go to sleep. And then they wake you up. Every 2 hours, they wake you up. That interrupted sleep is the problem. But nowadays, people are doing it by going to social media and waking up by themselves. Or they don't have a mechanism where they unwind their body and mind and go to sleep. They're tempted by the movie, are tempted by the series or something, and they'll be hooked on the social media, right? So that's something we don't want you to do. Put away all devices at least half an hour before you sleep, and then don't have your phone or your tablet or your computer with you. Okay, and then when you get up, don't open the devices for half an hour. Okay, so improving the sleep ambience, like making the room dark, using only for sleep, coming on the time, and also maybe a light to exercise, light music, light reading, that's okay. But all preparing you to get into sleep. Then unwind your body by with the shavasana, that is dead man's pose, that is in yoga, where you lie down, you make sure your body is completely touching the floor, and then you start to you know, contract and relax each muscle group upon somebody else is talking on a phone. Don't say to yourself and do it. Listen to the other voice. That even if the voice is yours, is recorded and you're listening to the voice. And then do the contraction and like you could start with the toes and go to ankle, go to calf muscles, go to knee, like that, all the way to the top of the head. You can contract, and as you're relaxing, breathe out, relax. That kind of instructions will be coming to you. Do that. You can do it on the floor, that is the real shavasana, real dead man's pose, or you can do sitting down, that is called body scanning these days. So you can do that from top to bottom, from head to toe. Okay. So once you are completely relaxed all this gently, and then you will be able to completely go into the relaxed sleep. If the mind is active, you are thinking too much. That's what I'm saying. First, take deep breath, slow the breath. Then, as you taking a deep, slow breath, your thoughts also will be slowing down. And then you can go to one thought and see what the thought, if it is negative, replace with something positive around it, right? So that is called Pratipaksha Bhavana. Turning the negative by identifying it, by changing it, by inculcating something positive, that you do that. Okay. Once you are done all that, then your body is relaxed, mind is relaxed, then you slip into your sleep. Okay. So so that is what I wanted to tell you. I was very uh, brief in this talk, but there's a lot more to talk about it. But if you guys have any questions, come up. Otherwise, I'll be closing the room in a few minutes because I did say what I want to say. I didn't want to go on to talk about the neurochemistry, talk about the inner mechanisms that happens in meditation, and meditation is really dealing with the desperate thoughts going all over, too many thoughts, too much negativity, but the person who is beyond the mind and in the real self, he doesn't need meditation. He is already in a meditative awareness, right? So that's what my state of being is. That's why meditation is not an action, but it is a state of being. Once you are in your being and use thought as your slave, as your tool, then you are not the victim of needing the meditation. Hope that makes sense. Okay. But that's not easy though. That's very tough. People are, first of all, they don't have any control. They think that they don't have any control on their thoughts. And lots of times it seems like thoughts coming from nowhere. And also with the thoughts, emotional reaction. With that, so many harms. So the whole thing goes on like a matrix, like a network of thoughts. One thought, then that. So in the ancient time, also even now, Ramana Maharshi in 1950s, he was there. He talked about one thought that comes up first in the morning, and be aware of that, and then don't let it go and form a nest of thoughts. And then you will be in your not in persona, in your presence. once you are in the presence, you can see the thought as a object. Okay, and then if you cannot do it, come back to your sense of breath touching the nose. That is the exercise you want to do by bringing your awareness to the present moment. Okay, do that, and then whatever you do that with that spirit. Then it becomes completely focused attention to whatever you do. Okay, it is not what you do, it is how you do it. How you do it with a bunch of thoughts or bunch of multitasking. Don't do that multitasking. Okay, but only one task at a time. Do a lot of tasks, but one task after the other. Okay, so it's a very complex thing. It doesn't see if you want to sleep without any sleeping aids, without any alcohol, without any drugs involved, and you want to preserve your natural sleeping ability, the circadian rhythms, then you got to understand all this and then recognize where you are led astray, where you are needing medication for sure, otherwise you are not sleeping and all. So when I receive a patient that had been using medications for sleep for a long time, I don't touch it, I don't disturb it. I will let him continue as he's learning these lifestyle changes that getting up in the morning, being in the awareness, and also being attention during the day, and then washing off mind at the night. If we can do them slowly, usually people cannot do that easily. And then that's why they take the medication. They think simple. No, in the long run, what happens is the medication tolerance builds. So you need to take more medication next month than you're taking now, and that is after certain dose they can be interacting with other medications or causing problems by the increased dose, right? So that's why I try to stay away from the medications if I can help, or but if they are there, I may cut it down after he learns this behavioral changes that he could do. And first of all, understanding is a difficult thing, and after understanding you don't remember it, and even if you remember it, your system forces so much, but you will not be able to implement the new suggestions. Like I said, cut down the medication, tapering dose, you may not be able to do that. So lot of patience, lot of training, lot of understanding is involved, and you got to really uncover the conditioning that already they have gone through. So they will not be able to do that because they have allowed the mind to go into certain directions, and that's why that mind acts on its own and it doesn't listen to you, even though you're intentional about it. It doesn't, right? So there's a lot of subtlety involved, lot of deconditioning involved, lot of sincerity and applications involved. But a lot of people are so much caught up in their life's journey with so many things doing, they don't have time even to reflect one day. When I ask them, have you done your reflection of all the reactions yesterday in the night? Oh, I didn't have energy, doc. I just slept off. But even if you do 5 minutes, it makes a difference. Repeat again. Get up in the morning, be in the awareness, not in thought. Don't go for the agenda and everything. Don't open your devices and all that. And as you get up on your job, you should already try to put your mind in the present moment. Carry that and be like a fragrance through the day and be attentive to everything that you are doing. Whatever you do, you are entertaining yourself, or you are really teaching somebody something, or talking to somebody. Give your complete attention, listen to them, and then answer to them with full focus. Okay, now as you do everything like that, then in the evening, if you retain some reactions, if you are entertaining all them in your mind, the kind of you are clinging to that, the experience, the emotional reaction, and all that, then actively remove them from your mind before you go to. The way I recommend is, if they are too trivial, silly to remember them, dump them right away. But if it is something important that you may want to get tomorrow, then write it on a device or put it on a paper and then forget it for the night. So in the morning, when you look up the note, all that will come to you, and then you will be able to do that. So that you don't miss something about your profession, something about your loved ones, something that you are obligated to do as a professional. All those things will be there, right? So for us, like all the patient data, everything. But I don't have to gather all the data. I can only say this treatment is working or not working. This is not working because of this. That kind of insights I have, I can treat him better. Okay. But anyway, don't retain too much data on a continuous basis. That is the problem. It's the intellectual. They retain so much data and they repeat the data and they say they're clever people, you know. But that should lead to insight, that should lead to transformation of yourself so that your life is improved. Get it? So get up in the morning, try to be in the present, and carry that as a fragrance through the day. Be attentive to whatever you're doing. At the end of the day, vacate your mind. Take off all the things that are there and then go to sleep. If you can do that, it's better. But beyond the thought is your witness consciousness. Abiding in that witness conscious sleeping is what I do. That's why it's so invigorating, so much energy. People ask me, you're 70 years old, but you have a lot of energy, you do a lot of stuff all the time. How? This is what is. I don't waste my energy. And also, I have the ways of allowing the body to generate the energy for me. Eat good food, drink water, take deep breaths, be in the present, and don't think all the time. Only think appropriately. Otherwise, you be silent. So that practice of being in silent awareness and then using thought as needed and ending the thought after it is done. So that's very tricky. But then the way you train your thought, it depends on that. To uncondition that kind of training is also very difficult. Okay. So understanding what is mind. Is there mind or only thoughts? That's very difficult for people to understand. If you think what you know is the only thing, that is the only way, God save you. Nobody can save you if you are set up in those kind of conclusions. But if you want to examine, is there really a mind or only the persona that we built up? Is there something like a personality, ego, or is there something that I should use it against rape? If you don't understand this, your mind will be running all the time and you will be reacting with your ego wherever you go, and you have no chance of slowing them down. And then somebody will come and praise you, your ego will puff up. Oh, I'm such a great thing. And then somebody else will come and put a needle, they say, you are no big deal. Then you deflate and you suffer. Okay? In ancient wisdom, the essential thing is teach you how to go beyond the ego, transcend the ego. Not that you kill it, you understand and you go beyond it. And that is the transcendence of ego, that is the transcendence of persona, that is the one which is reactive. Once you understand that, that automatically, ego takes its time and lives like a slave, not as a master. Many people make it a master already. And then their ego dictates them, their ego reacts, and they will be suffering with it. Okay. All right. So that's what I wanted to tell you. These are pretty difficult, very complicated, very intricate mechanism that happen in microseconds. So by the time somebody says, before realize it, the ego reacted and it has produced other stress hormones, and then you will be carried by the emotion, and you'll have. Remember the rage reactions that we see, people killing each other just because of the traffic stop. That's all because this rage reaction is of the persona that is reactive, the ego that is reactive, and impulsive action comes out of that, and they are not aware that they are behaving like that. Okay, so all that is lack of awareness, getting carried away with the thoughts, and then consequences. Okay, so the same thing is sleep also. The more you can be in the present, the more you are in the awareness, the more you are in your essence, The mind rests, the body rests. And that resting metabolism repairs everything, and then you become much better the next body. That is the restorative sleep. Check it whether you have it or not. And if you have any questions, DM me and ask me. I'll try to guide you. Okay. That is something everybody need to have. I'm saying out of love. I want people not to suffer. I want people to live to their full capacity, full energy. So a lot of people don't think the thought is our instrument. Thought is not you. You are having thoughts, right? So Rene Descartes, when he said, I think, therefore I am, that is what the Western culture caught hold of it and then paying consequences for that. He was a good guy. He wanted to have some identification. That's why he said that. But much before him, thousands of years ago, ancient said, I am not the body. I am not the mind, not the thoughts, emotions, and all that. I am beyond that is the spark of life, conscious being. That is what I am. I manifest a mind with the thoughts, and I manifest a personality. I manifest the body shape and everything because of that too. So, body and mind are our tools. Our real inner self is the inner self, right? People can call it soul, we may call it life energy, we may call it consciousness, or whatever different names they may give. But it is not conglomeration of thoughts which we think we are the mind or ego or person. That is not us. Once you understand it, you can live with your mind empty, silent, and exhilarating for you. Okay. Otherwise, you are always thinking, and you're thinking that I'm very smart because I can think so many things. No, you are not smart. You are kind of allowing these networks to happen and build themselves up and come up when you don't want it. Okay. All right. So this is what it is, and I can go on talking about it. If anybody interested, come up in the next couple of minutes. Otherwise, I will close and then go away. Okay, I'll see you then. Okay.